Hallo und herzlich willkommen. Greetings and welcome, ich Isten Hazat. I'm Wolf, and in this video I will recommend you 10 decks that I think you should try before the game shuts down. Let's start with the first. So the first deck we have here is Nix-Ox Telvanni. This is a control combo deck that will OTK you once it reaches 14 Magicka, with the use of Genius PathMage and a Dark Rebirth. So the combo is that you play PathMage on 14, you get Nix-Ox. This will ramp you to 12, you play Dark Rebirth, then you will summon Laneth with the Genius PathMage. Because this costs 3, you will be at 9, which means Laneth is the only 9 cost card in the deck, and then you summon Laneth, you grab an Uprising, then you play Uprising, you have a PathMage, a Laneth, and a Nix-Ox on board. The Uprising will get you down to 2 Magicka, but the Nix-Ox will ramp you to 7. This way the PathMage will give you a 7 cost, which is Nix-Ox. And you are free to draw a card with Laneth. You will draw Experiments. Then with Experiments, you will summon another Laneth to draw an Uprising, and you will kill off your PathMage, and you will, or anything else that's on the board, and you will summon another Nix-Ox. This means that you will be at 8 Magicka, because this costs 9, you were at 12, so you go down to 3, you ramp with the Nix-Ox summon to 8, you can play the next Uprising then, and with this Uprising you, either if you have lethal, then you can just grab Mentor's Ring and either a Viper or a Bat, and attack with everything, or you grab another Uprising, and then do this once more and grab the Viper or the Bat and the Mentor's Ring, and you have won. Point is, you have to survive until then, you have control tools for that. I chose to run 3 Ice Storms and 1 Fingers, but you could also just ditch the fresh start, play another Fingers. There are other ways to win with this, since we have Experiments, so you can experiment the Aylets. The deck isn't so good at control, so it's not as unethical to play Aylets here. You can summon infinite Erwings, you can summon infinite Encanos. Also, one very funny thing is, if you have a good board and you play Emeric, Mentor's Ring on Emeric or anything with Ward, and then you Uprising, that's good as well, and you can deal infinite damage to face. This is a control deck that will run out of value unless you have a PathMage and a Dark Rebirth to start off the combo. And there is other ways to start the combo. You can start the combo with Night Remember, but this is the most sure way to get it done. So this is the first deck I will recommend, because this is something that I really enjoyed playing. Next we have yet another PathMage deck, but this is more of a mid-range. So this is mid-range. It's like mid-range Battlemage, but in Mage, so mid-range Mage. But we are playing PathMage, and we are playing Supreme Atro, and we are playing stuff that resummon our creatures with, so Night Remember and Dark Rebirth, and Doppelgangers. The point is, you start doing your normal mid-range Mage stuff. You have your Breton Conjurers, you have Dragonfire Wizard. Because we are not playing in Battlemage, you will need ways to prog the Breton Conjurer, or you can just play it raw if you want to. The Dragonfire Wizard, if it is removed in 1 or 2 turns, then you can use the Flame Lash to proc Breton Conjurer's Sword, or you can use Fingers as well. This is why we are running 2 of these. And then you play the PathMage on turn, let's say 8 or 9. And the point is that we have Mage's Guild Recruit to reduce the cost of Night Remembers and Dark Rebirths. And then if you play PathMage, it will be a 4/4 with maybe you summon a Harpy and shackle something, or you summon a Dragonfire Wizard or on an Initiate on the first play of PathMage. And on the second play of PathMage, or rather on the resummon of PathMage with Night Remember or Dark Rebirth, you will get a Supreme Atro on the board, or you will get an Encano on board, which is pretty cool. And the reason we are running Doppelgangers as a 3-of is because we are running Mighty Conjuring, so you have ways you have so many targets for these doppelgangers. You can resummon Alphix, you can use it on Abnor, you can use it on a Flame Atro, or on a Lava Atro, this is the best usage of it, or on Supreme Atro. And the point is to build a board, hopefully not get Ice Stormed, but even if you get Ice Stormed and you survive long enough, then you have the PathMage to resummon stuff, and control decks that have single removals won't be able to keep up with this because of the Alphi, because of the PathMage, because of Supreme Atro. And you could run 2 copies of Supreme Atro. The reason I run only 1 is because you will get it with PathMage. And if you have already drawn it, then you have Ankano as your target. Next, I'm here to recommend a bad deck. This is not something you want to play to climb, this is just something that you might want to try for once. The point of this deck is Praetorian Commander and Conscription, but as you can see, we are not running that many Locust cards, and the reason is because we have Remnant Purveyor, and we will want to summon 3-cost cards with your Conscription. Basically, we want to cheat out Pit Lions. That's the point. You start playing aggressive because you have all these aggressive creatures. You break runes, you draw cards, you draw cards, you draw cards. You play Reflecting Automaton to later transmit with Purveyor. You have Night Remembers, either to use on Purveyor or to use on Commander. If you start aggro, your opponent, if it's not an aggro opponent, then won't break your runes, which means that you will be able to play Muse and draw cards of it. If your opponent is a wide aggro deck, we have Debilitate to deal with that. We have Initiative, we have Golden Initiate for the drain, we have Defensive Prima, you can play this defensively as well as offensively once you have played your Conscription. We have High Defender, and this is the card that I will point out here yet, Morecton Nightblade. There is a chance that you get a 0-cost Conscription, and that's all you want to do with this deck, but we have also quite a few other actions that it could reduce the cost of, and as is just a draw, and since this only summons a 0-1, will deny one of your attacks, but you act like you are aggro, but you're not really aggro because you will be in with Conscription and Praetorian Commander. If we are at Praetorian Commander and Tullius's Conscription, then this is the next deck that I will show you. This is Conscription Hlaalu, but not an aggressive one and not a control one. This is a Conscription Hlaalu that is a combo Hlaalu, and I will show you why. We have Ladis's Cruelty, which you will use on either a Lumbering Ogrim to gain 5 Magicka, or you will use it on Stampede Sentinel or Belly Giant. The way you get to 12 earlier than 12 is with this. Because if you look at this, you can play Sentinel on 6, you lay this Cruelty on 7, and you're in Conscription range. Of course, if you don't have this early Conscription, you have Commanders and just the normal Conscription. You have Muse. This is the same reason why Muse was in the other deck. We are playing aggro early, and then when we will run out of stuff to do, then we have a Muse, and then we can draw back cards. Also, we have 3 of Debilitate, for the same reasons. We are running Rage as well, because this deck, sometimes you just don't get Conscription. There isn't that much draw in this deck. So, to make sure that you have other ways to win the game, you have Rage here. And since we are already running Stampede Sentinel and Belly Giant, you can Rage on these and still get in lethal range and win the game. Next to recommend is one of my favorites. This is Shrine Archer, and I worked very hard to make this somewhat work. This is a Journey deck and a Shrine deck, of course, because I'm the one making it. So the point of this deck is to have your deck be emptied, and then play Journey, and then win with the high-stated creatures. You will need to control stuff. While Doomcrag has easier ways to control, but it is based on very few key cards, here we actually have a wider range of control tools. We are running Archer's Gambit and Crossbow for our lethal creatures, which is Sanctuary Path, Elena, Astrid, and Fighters Guild Recruit. To draw cards, because we have a Shrine, we are running Pawnbroker, we are running Shadow Shift, and we are running Opportunist and TGR. Actually, Gambler is a good way to get rid of the Shrines if you feel like this isn't a matchup that you could use Shrine in. So that's one of the reasons we have a Gambler. And also it's draw, and you can discard the 0-cost bad cards from Pawnbroker. As control, we have Crushing Blow. We are running triple of Raiding Party because with Shrine, this is an easy trigger for Shrine. We have Moonlight Werebreath, Nix-Hound Fabricant, and Brynjel for Sustain. And the reason I'm running Nix-Hound Fabricant instead of third Moonlight Werebreath, probably the third Moonlight Werebreath would be better, but it's just so good to have Shrine and then play Fabricant. And Shrine is the only card that will activate Fabricant. We have Bannerman for the same reason as Raiding Party, and we have Slayer, not just for the Prophecy, but for the 0-cost card that you will get, and you get to activate Shrines easier. Next, I will show you Atro Sorcerer, and I will show you another version of this, because I don't think this is the best version, but this is the combo version of the deck. Point is to summon Supreme Atromancer, not by playing Supreme Atromancer, because that will be too easy. You want to play Ordinary Necromancer and summon Atro on turn 7, or even 6 if you manage to do it. For that reason, we have Midnight Burial to put Supreme Atro in this card, and we have Moontouch Guardian to buff the Necro. We have to sustain the board until then, so we have Negation, we have triple Ice Storm, double Fingers, and we are running to buff the power of Necromancer, not just the Guardian, but we have Coursership, and we have Emperor's Attendant. We need ways to draw into the control cards, so we have Discerning Thief, Reclaimer, and Conspirator, and also DFM. And as you can see, these are this Reclaimer and also the Thief and DFM. These are actually not really control cards. These are aggro cards or mid-range cards at best. So you can also just go face early, pressure your opponent, and then when they think that they have survived, they play an Ice Storm on 6. Then you go and play your Necromancer and summon Supreme Atro, and then you have won. Also, the sad thing is that this deck has, after you summon the Supreme Atro, you're basically done playing. You either won or you didn't, and if they have a second Ice Storm, then that sucks. And this is the better version of this deck. Here we are running it little bit slower, not so focused on the combo, although we have Moontouch Guardian, we have everything in the last one. But it's not as combo, we don't have that many control tools, we are playing more aggressive and then just try to... This is a mid-range deck that is a bit worse than a mid-range deck because we are running these combo tools. Next, let me show you another Shrine deck, of course. This is TheranaShrine, this is a control deck that will win with Therana Ice Spike, and we are running Shrine and many low-cost cards because we need to trigger Shrine. Of course, you could make this deck better without Shrine and with more draw and less shit cards, but this is more fun. So we have Apparition, because this, if you use Betray, will count as 2 cards for Shrine. We have Spoils, because it is a draw, you can reduce the cost. We have Double Fingers, Double Ice Storm, we have Lightning Bolt, we have Channel Storm, we have Harpies in there, and Firebolt and Fire Bloom, because it is a control. And also, if you run a 2-color deck, it's Double Fingers, Triple Ice Storm, and the Fireball, Fire Blooms and the Firebolt will be much more easier to get, and you can sustain better. Problem is that this deck lacks Drain. We have Drain with Blackened Messenger, and we have Drain with Barenzaya, and that's it. And Blackened Messenger only drains for 2 usually. So... this deck could be made better with maybe a Reclaimer, and then you can equip Blackened Messenger to actually have Drain. on the board. The problem is that you don't really want to run many low-cost cards, because low-cost creatures, because Fleeting Apparition summons them and you want to have more control on what gets summoned. Next up is a deck that I try to make as good as it is possible to make this. This deck is a menace. And the reason why is because this will... Against control decks that don't want to attack you, with this deck you will usually win in time, but you have to survive until then. And if your opponent is running creatures, after a while you just can't remove them. Point of this deck is to draw a lot and get an Ultimate Heist Mushroom Tower combo ready. To do that, we have to ramp. So we have all the ramp cards, and since we are already ramping, we have Alchemist. And this will be usually 5-7 power by the time it gets removed. Also, because we are running Mushroom Tower, we are running as many other actions as we can. Cold Dragon is really good with this. If you even upgrade Cold Dragon's level 1s, then you can get a 12th Dragon. For that, of course, you need your opponent not to remove Mushroom Tower, so if you play the first Mushroom Tower and it gets removed, then that sucks. And then if you are playing against control, you need enough Magicka for the second Mushroom Tower to already be paired with an Ultimate Heist. To control the board, we have Shearpoint Dragon, Debilitate. PathMage is somewhat of a control stuff since it's a guard. We have 3 Minders for the ramp. We have 1 copy of Solitaire because we are running Mushroom Tower and because we are running Partonex. And other than that, we have the Opportunist, since sometimes you will be so high with your Magicka that you could just Opportunist your opponent to death. And it's a draw as well by the time it comes back, so it doesn't water down your deck. Next, it's something similar. It is Abomination Scout that is not working anymore because Disciple got nerfed. But you can still try to play this, and sometimes you will win because of Opportunist, because you are able to maintain the board with 3-Feather Warchief. 3-Feather Warchief saved these decks. I don't think this would be even playable without Warchief, and I don't think Doomcrag would be able to get a positive win rate without 3-Feather Warchief, but this makes the deck so much better. You could also decide to run Shearpoint Dragon, since we are running DV, we are running 3-Feather Warchief, and we are running Debilitate. The reason I didn't decide to do that is because I'm running Shrine, and I didn't want to have that many high-cost creatures. But you could easily decide to cut Shrine, put in maybe Shearpoint, and then you would run also Ordinary Necromancer, and you would run Cicero instead of you can cut maybe the Smugglers here and 1 copy of Chevy Shift, and that would work. Probably that will be better, but I'm a Shrine guy, so I'm running the Shrine. Next up is a mid-range Battlemage. That is weird because of the Supreme Atro combo that you're trying to wing out here. We are running Night Rebirth and Dark Rebirth that will be cost reduced by Mage's Guild Recruit, and then once you get to the 2 point, you can use these on Dremora, Mercenaries, or on Supreme Atro, or on Encano, or even on Alfiq if you think that summoning yet another Alfiq would help you win here. So this is just mid-BM, but a little bit slower, and with a better top end, with all these 10 cost and 8 cost cards, and with the rages. I know I said 10, but I cannot make a video about decks that you should try without mentioning Doomcrag, so here is Doomcrag, and I will actually give you another version of it. This is a worse Doomcrag, this is Doomcrab. You could play this a little bit more aggressive, and I hope that you will try these, or, well, not Doomcrab, because I don't think this is worth trying, but Doomcrag is, and let me know how the decks did in the end. And also, if you're another content creator, then I would really like to see your top 10 in a video, and if you're not, you're just watching, then please at least give me some decks with deck codes in the description so I can try out a few more before the game gets shut down. It will be really cool to share decks like this. Don't share your best, share the most fun, and then we can all enjoy playing Castle for the rest of these 3 months. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in another video soon. Servus and farewell. Isten óvjon.